Okay, so welcome everybody to the fourth chapter of the Millionaire Networker. So it's so good to see all of you guys, gals on here. I guess I'm the only guy, but all you gals on here tonight. And what's Pam B say on the chat? I got to read this. Pam B said, I told my boys take ownership. 100%, Pam. I absolutely agree. The more ownership I take, the more peace I have in my life. So, because I can control it, right? I can control it when I take ownership. But we are on chapter 4, and this is called Visionaries See Things Differently. I'm going to keep admitting people into the call. But so we have 12 people on tonight. This is exciting. Anyway, I'm assuming everybody read the book. You don't have to show your hand or anything like that. But I do want to just kind of continue with the same thing that we've been doing, which is we're just going to go through each section of this chapter. And again, I want to hear from all of you on how this chapter spoke to you, what stood out to you, what you learned, what you hated, what you really have a problem with. I mean, I'm not afraid to talk about any of it. I really am not. So again, I thought this was a great chapter. And the thing is, there's some practical things in here, but also we continue throughout this book, you start to see a pattern. We're dealing with mindset, just mindset issue, mindset. And as we go through the Tuesday night coaching calls, I know a lot of you are on those calls. A lot of the issues that we see, or a lot of the issues that we coach through, you'll start to see aren't practical things of how to use technology. It's not how to use, not how to have a meeting. A lot of the things we talk about, honestly, are mindset issues. And, and I'm no different than you. I deal and have dealt with mindset issues in my Plexus business, still dealing with mindset issues. There's still things that sometimes I think, yeah, I've got that fixed. I've got that figured out. And it creeps back up. I'm like, well, where'd that come from? So as we're going to just see this pattern of mindset and how important that is, not only in our Plexus business, but really in all of life. It affects everything. So we are going to jump right in. And one of the things that we are going to talk about tonight is vision. Talk about vision, talk about dreams, talk about goals, So I want to hear from everybody. So first section, it's called, Can You See It Clearly? Starting on page 45 in your book. What in this section jumped out at you guys? What really stood out to you?
Okay, I'll go, Justin.
Perfect.
Okay, so on page 46, at the very bottom, I thought this was really good because I've always worked in a school, and so your schedule is set for you. I've never really been my own boss. So where it says being your own boss is a great advantage if you're ready to handle it, I could relate to that because I'm having to create my own agenda. And with I know you can relate because you've got 7 kids. It's just hard when you got 7 kids. So that's hard for me. I related to that.
Yeah, let's sit with this for a minute. I think this is a good thing to talk about because as we're talking to people about Plexus and the miracle of Plexus and all these things, we talk about time freedom and how you can come home and just be with your family all the time. And it's just beautiful. And it's like being on a beach with fruity drinks, and it's just amazing all the time. And just everything works out just beautifully with rainbows in the backyard. And it's awesome. And a lot of times it is. However, when I came home from road construction and I started working or trying to work from home, it was difficult. I'll be honest. It was harder than I thought. One thing, it gave me more appreciation for my wife because I came home and I'm like, these people are nuts. Like, how does she Like, seriously, I don't know how she doesn't have a drinking problem or is not on the porch smoking when I get home from work. Cause I was serious. I thought, man, she puts up with a lot because we're right here together all the time with no break. And I kind of had it made in road construction because I could leave at 4 o'clock in the morning and get home at 9 o'clock and wrestle the boys for about an hour and put them to bed. I mean, my life was pretty good. And then I came home and I thought, this is hard. And it took a lot of adjustment for me. So as you're talking to people or training or coaching people on your team, understand that maybe them coming home or maybe them working full time from home might take a lot of adjusting. It might take some time to get used to that. Now, here I am 5 or 6 years later, and I think that it's the greatest thing on the planet, right? But it did take some adjustment. And one thing I will also share that I've noticed over the years is this, is if you have someone that leaves a full-time job and comes home and starts working Plexus full-time, they may struggle because, and they might even start to lose production. So one thing you may have to look out for, maybe for yourself or someone on your team, is this, is that, and I've seen this on my own leg, is that when you have someone who's working full time, they know they have like 1 hour to really work Plexus hard, and they message people and they're extremely focused in that hour. And then they come home and it's like, I'll do it this afternoon. Maybe tomorrow. This is time freedom, right? So the thing is that you have to, when we're talking about that, or when you're talking to people, understand that it takes a lot of discipline and maybe some coaching, just even on time and how to handle your time when you come home, and also how to just walk with people through that, because it may take some adjusting. I just know that it did for me, for sure. Any thoughts about that? Anybody else experience the same thing? Rebecca, yeah.
Hey, just
Yep.
My struggle is, but I feel like when I work Plexus, obviously I'm not sharing the vision to get a good team under me. I feel like I can't figure it out, which I figured it out in my 20-year career as a manager at my full-time job. Why can't I figure out how to lead with Plexus? And it's a lot of it's a mindset thing that I feel out of my comfort zone, I guess, but I get mad at myself and frustrated because I know I can manage and lead, but I'm not getting it done with Plexus.
Okay, great. Let me see. Okay, great. Angela, thank you for sharing that. And so a couple different things I have. So you were able to share the vision at your 26-year career. Is that what you said? 26 years? 20 some years?
Yes.
Okay, but you're having trouble sharing your vision with Plexus. Is that right?
Correct.
What is your vision with Plexus?
I mean, I need my vision, I guess, is to be, my why is to be able to pay for my daughter's education by writing a check and not have to, go into debt to further her education. And I want Plexus to be my plan A. I mean, I've worked for government a long time and I'm really done with that and I want to retire. So I want Plexus to be my full-time job.
Okay. So why would I want to join Angela's team? What about her vision would get me excited to join and get started?
That's where I struggle. I feel like nobody, I have that vision in my head, but no one seems to see it. Now my upline sees it in me, but people that join my team fall off, quit, don't stay. It's obviously, and for the, I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Okay, well, let's sit with that for just a minute. Let's keep going through these couple of these sections, because I think a couple of these sections are going to help us look deeper into vision, dream, inspiring, setting goals, all of those things. And then we'll touch back with you towards the end after we go through a few more of these sections. How about? Okay, any other questions? We'll circle back around and get with Angela after we go through a few more of these sections, because I think a couple of these sections will help us all get a better understanding of vision, dream, goals, and sharing the business. I want to definitely touch on that tonight. So who else in the first section before we move on to the next section, in the can you see it clearly section? Anybody else have anything on that before we move along?
I think for me, it was just this idea that urgent things can distract us from our vision and our goals. I think that's really something significant for me right now. For an instance, today, I got completely knocked off course, having to deal with a highly emotionally charged situation, like first thing this morning. And it was something I couldn't avoid. And yet it affected my whole business plan for the day and our homeschool and everything. So I just lived this today. So that as I was looking over it, that's a significant thing of putting some boundaries and some plans in place for, okay, when this happens, because this is life and it's going to happen, what am I going to do then? And how do I recover? And how do I make sure I'm not controlled by the urgent so that I can achieve and work on my vision? So that's something that I'm going to have to think on.
Yeah, I think that that's something we all need to look at. I know that when you work from yourself or you work from home or anything, really, people think that one thing I've learned, if you have your own business, and Plexus is your own business, by the way, when you have your own business, people think you have a lot of time and think you have a lot of money, and they want both. So you have to protect yourself from those things, either by not answering a call or by putting it off until later if you can. Sometimes you just can't avoid it, right? But I think one thing that we have to do, learn to do, and you mentioned distractions, you mentioned boundaries. I think boundaries are extremely important. And our Plexus time, if our vision is so big that it could change our life and change the next generation, which Plexus can, by the way, if that's how big our dream or our vision is, then our time for Plexus each day should be sacred. Not hobby, not maybe I should. It should be a sacred time. Now, that's not an 8-hour period. That's not a 6-hour period or a 10-hour period. We actually lose production after we work more than 90 minutes anyway. So it'd be 90 minutes or less. But those times need to be sacred. Now, granted, emergencies happen, things do happen, but if we can control it, we need to make our Plexus time sacred. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a long stretch. It doesn't have to be all day long. It's just short periods of time, maybe an hour, maybe 60 minutes, maybe 90 minutes. But, one of my business coach, life coaches, he doesn't want me to do anything more than 90 minutes. He's like, after 90 minutes, you need that block of time is done. You need to go do push-ups, sit-ups, do some pull-ups, go play with the kids, go do something else, refocus, and then get back after it. But we need to make those times sacred. Like, this is important. My vision with Plexus is so big. My dream with Plexus is so big that this time, this hour, this 90 minutes, whatever it is you have, this 30 minutes is sacred to me, because I'm depending on this to complete my vision. I'm depending on this time to complete whatever my why is, whatever my goals are, whatever my dream is, right? And I think that that's not being selfish. I think that's being responsible with the vision that we have set for ourselves. Great stuff. Thanks, Rebecca. So let's move on. One thing I want to say before we move on real quick, we're talking about vision again. There's a proverb in the Proverbs. Yes, this is a very deep call, so very spiritual. So it's Proverbs 29:18. It's one of my father-in-law's favorite scriptures. And it says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." And it goes on to talk about more, but where there is no vision, the people perish. 29:18. This isn't just spiritual. This is anything. You have to. There's a saying out there that says, if you, I'm just going to butcher it. I don't have the direct quote, but basically, if you don't have a vision, you're going to end up working for someone who does. Right. So, we have to have a vision. And I look at vision and dream as synonymous. I think they're the same thing. I don't know that they're necessarily different. I don't have time to think about what the difference is between a dream and a vision. I just look at them as the same. But you have to have one. Your vision has to be so strong for your Plexus business that it's going to get you through the hard days. Like, it's going to keep you moving when the kids are sick. It's going to keep you moving forward when the dog is sick. It's going to keep you moving forward when your family calls you bad names because you're in network marketing, right? What was the name I was called? I think I shared this. What was that? Propagandized Plexus minion. This was at a family get together. So, your vision needs to be so big that it pushes you on past that. So your vision has to be big. What's up, Chris? There's my man, Chris. We were in the...
He's gonna say hi.
What up?
What's up, buddy?
How's it going?
Casey in the house.
I'm doing good. Doing good. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right. I gotta go. But one thing about that is you have to have a vision. One time, I'll just share a quick story, then we'll move on. I feel like I'm not being very efficient with our time here, but Megan just went diamond. And I have a very unique background. I was basically raised in a bar, and then I spent about 12 years in the Army, and then I spent about 13 years in road construction. So I have a very unique ministry style. So it's not as it's not as choir boy as some may have. Mine's a little rougher around the edges. So anyway, I have to keep it tame for these calls though, I think. So Megan had just gone diamond and she was getting ready to go on. We were so excited because we knew our vision. We knew our goals. We knew what our dreams were with Plexus. And she just went diamond and we were so excited. She was getting ready to get on a call and a team call, and her sister, well, I shouldn't say that. Somebody called her on the phone. I won't say which sister, but anyway, a sister called, she has a bunch, but, and accused her of being a bad mother, accused her of wasting her time, accused Megan of, what was the word? Just disregarding her children because she was doing this Plexus thing, and absolutely crushed Megan, crushed her. And she was so upset, and she was getting ready to get on this call with the team who was going to congratulate her and all this stuff. I don't remember everything that was said. But I gotta try not to get mad here. She said, I can't get on this call. I said, listen, they're all expecting you on this call. She's, I can't do it. She's like, I'm gonna quit. I'm done. It's not worth it. The people that I wanted to be happy for me the most just like broke my heart. And I said, dry up your tears and get on the frickin' call, because that's what diamonds do. We have a plan, we have a dream, we have a vision, and we're doing that. Now you get on the call because these people are expecting you to be on the call. You owe it to them to get on the call. Heck with those haters, you know, right? Heck with them. And she went on the call and she killed it. Now, why do I share that? Because our vision was bigger than the hurtful words of family or friends or whoever, right? And that person still won't talk to us about Plexus. They won't even ask us how the business is going. Megan's in the top 15 right now, I think, in the Paris trip. I think she's at number 15, and they still won't ask her about, she's getting ready to go to, you know, an all expense paid trip to Paris, France, but they still won't ask her. But you know what? We don't care, because our vision and our goal doesn't really even have anything to do with those other people. It's bigger than them. And if they're not on board with what we're trying to do, that's their issue, not mine. And it should be the same way for you. Your vision, your dream should be bigger than the comments of other people. All right, moving on. My face is getting warm talking about this.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Because I'm one of these people that are always trying to figure out, like, what's the bottom line? Like, what's the problem, or what's underneath something? And I'm wondering if you think, if anything's a problem, like consistency, discipline, all that stuff is not really the issue. Like, underneath it really is the vision and the dream. Or do you think it's along the line? Because like you said, if your vision's so big, then it would override the inconsistencies in the discipline. Or can you still have a huge dream and vision and still struggle with procrastination and discipline? Because I struggle with that. And I'm wondering if maybe the real issue isn't that. The real issue isn't I haven't tapped into my dream enough, or my dream's not big enough, or so. I just wanted to ask what you thought.
Well, it's kind of like, you know, how important is staying healthy and alive to you? Probably pretty important. So you eat 3 times a day, right? Like your vision, like that vision that vision makes you eat. That vision makes you sleep. That vision makes you drink water. That vision makes you take supplements. Right. Now there is discipline with all these things. Yeah, but if you, I mean, I hate comparing Plexus to some of this stuff, but I mean, like if I had a child that was missing or whatever, I might, like, there would be nothing, I wouldn't even think about discipline. Like, I wouldn't even think about, there would be no consistency. That would just be what my vision would be to find them. Right. So I think your vision has to be big. Like it has to be, the thing is, I think it has to be bigger than us. I mean, at the beginning, I know with like some of the visions that I've had with Plexus is I want to do this, and I want to do this, and I want to do this, and I want to do this. And that was great. But at some point, your vision has to become even bigger than you. Your why has to become bigger than you. Like I think that your why has to be attached to a who. We operate at our best when we're helping other people. That's just the way it is. When we're focused on ourselves, a lot of times we get depressed. Someone who's depressed or dealing with anxiety, one of my solutions, I have several solutions to that, but one of the solutions is go find someone to serve. So I think a lot of times our why, our vision or dream, whatever you want to title it, I think they're all the same in my opinion. They have to be bigger than us. Because like I said, when we when we're helping other people, we're at our best. We feel the best, we work the hardest. So like our vision, like I'm not going to be able to sell my personal vision to someone else into the marketplace. Hey, I want a home in Mexico. Join my team. Like who's gonna, like that's not inspiring. Inspiring to me, yeah, but people are gonna look at like, why would I? No, I'm not gonna help you build a house in Mexico. What's in this for me? That's what people want to know. So yeah, I think the vision should be big. But it doesn't have to be huge, like build a house in Mexico now. Our first vision with the business of Plexus was to pay for our products. Right. And then we checked that off the list. And then it was, well, let's see if we can buy a car. And then we bought a car. And then it was, let's see if we can pay this old house off. We paid the house off. And then, I mean, it just kept getting bigger and bigger. So you don't have to, you know, after that, I don't remember what all it was. I think it was I came home full time, and then we built a new house that I'm in right now. You know, so the vision has continually grown and grown and grown. Now I have personal goals I want to hit, but my vision is to help 12 families have what we have, like 12 disciples. That's what I'm looking for. And we haven't got there yet, so I'm just going to keep working until we get there. You know, people will buy into that. Yeah, I want to be one of those 12. I'm in. Cool. Let's go. Does that help, Brenda, at all? Help a little bit? Okay, so let's go on. Let's see. I'm missing all the chats. I'm sorry. Rebecca's husband, your vision has to be non-negotiable. Absolutely 100% correct. Stephen Walker killing it over there, right? Cool. Perfect. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I have a dream. I have a dream. I'm just going to touch base on this one, then we're going to move on, because this is the same thing kind of we've been talking about. It says the thing that stuck out to me here on page 47 was a clear and determined vision begins with a big dream. I think that, again, I personally think that a vision and a dream are the same thing. They're synonymous. Again, I don't have time to go and look through the dictionary, the difference between a vision and a dream. It's all the same to me. But my question to you is, what was that vision when you started? What was that thing that got you so fired up about Plexus and the possibilities of Plexus? Maybe you went to your first convention, maybe you went to your first leaders retreat and you left on fire thinking, I am going to go do X. What was that? What was that thing? Have you achieved it yet? Now, who's talked you out of it? You? Someone else? Someone else's negative words? Maybe a couple setbacks in your business has talked you out of it. Maybe you've settled for something easier. Why? You should look at that. I would encourage you to look at that. What was that one thing when you first started? Man, I'm going to go and do this. And you were so sure of it. You were so excited of it. And then now it's like, yeah, I'm just going to try to reach out maybe. I mean, what was that one thing? Revisit that. Revisit that thing. Because I think you can do it. How do I know that? Because people are doing it. People are achieving those visions and those goals and those dreams with Plexus right now. If they can do it, then why can't you do it? So revisit that one thing it was when you first started, that one impossible thing. I'm going to build a church. I'm going to build a school. I'm going to ship a truckload of soccer balls to wherever. Whatever that thing was, revisit that. And just because it's big and you haven't achieved it yet, doesn't mean you should get rid of it. By the way, visions or dreams, whatever you want to call them, goals, shouldn't be easy to achieve. They should be difficult, right? They should be difficult. Now, moving on to the next section here. On page 48, it says, people are waiting for you. Anybody have anything they want to share on that?
I'll share again, Justin. On page 49, I guess whenever I got into this, I didn't realize how much time and conversations this was really going to take, how much interest I would have to take into people, because initially I thought it was just products. You sell them, you make money, voila. But that last paragraph says, taking the title of a leader has a lot of responsibilities and it takes a lot of heart. And then the last sentence, you have to develop an interest in others that's sincere. So I guess that's something I'm having to overcome a little bit. Not that I don't want to have relationships with people, but I thought it was going to be a quicker process, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's true. One thing I've learned in this business, and I'm still learning, is you're not just a network marketer, you're a coach, you're a leader, you're an example, you are a counselor, you are a marriage counselor, you're a minister, you're a social worker, you're like there's no end to what you can be in this business. Like the opportunities are amazing. I would have never thought, back in 2016, when the Lord said, this is the path I have for you, take it. I would have never thought that I would have this many types of opportunities, not just with business, not just with time, with family, but opportunities with other people. And I think one of the things with Plexus is, if you want to be successful in this, is just love people. When you're talking to people, come to people with, now there's a time to close people and there's a time to get off the phone and there's a time to recommend a counselor, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you have to protect your time. Again, you have to protect your vision. You have to protect that sacred time of Plexus work. However, a lot of this is just loving people. When you're talking to people, I used to try to sign every person I talked to, even if it was the first time I talked to them. Very pressure oriented, very attack mentality. And then what I learned is, and it worked, but I didn't feel the best about it, right? So one thing I learned is that when I talk to people, I'm just trying to connect with people. I feel like when we're talking to people, and it does take a lot of time and it does take a lot of conversations, but if we genuinely want to help people, when we're talking to people, just meet a need, help meet a need. Maybe they just need someone to talk to. Maybe they need a probiotic. Maybe they need some side money. Maybe they want to be part of a team, I don't know. But when we're talking to people, if we come with open hands and just love the person, even if it's just a few minutes, just try to meet a need. Fortunately for us, most Americans are sick and broke, so we can help meet a lot of needs with Plexus, right? So, but come with that sort of mentality of really helping people. That way, if your vision is to really help people, you have a clear conscience, you know what you're trying to do. Yeah, you're trying to build a business, but we can build a business by helping people. What a great model, And then when someone says no, or someone says negative, you have a clear conscience. You were just trying to help somebody, help meet a need. Maybe, maybe they don't need Plexus. Maybe they need something different, or maybe they need to know maybe they need to know something one of your friends has. Maybe they need to know an accountant friend of yours and they need their number. Maybe they need a lawyer friend of yours and their number, or a doctor friend, whatever. But if we look at, when we talk to people, if we look at trying to help meet needs, it takes the pressure off of us. Because now we're not focused on us, we're focused on the person. And people can feel that when you're talking to them. They know if they're a number. Like, the way we talk to people is different. Like, if I wanted something from all of you guys, I would probably be talking to you guys different tonight. I'm just here to help. So, I mean, if someone like leaves this and goes and starts putting on Facebook that Justin's an idiot and all that blah, 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 it's not going to bother me at all. I'd probably have fun with it. I'd probably comment on your post, because I'm not in this to get anything. I'm just in this to help. I'm focused, and my focus is on other people. And if we talk to people like that, it really takes the pressure off of you. You're just free to love people. When you come with the open hands like that and to meet needs, you're just free to love them. And that's the best approach, in my opinion. So let's see. What time is it? 20 minutes. Okay, so we have on the top of 49, where Sarah was just kind of in that area where Sarah was reading, there's a list of numbers. It talks about training your team so that they're not overwhelmed by challenges. I just want to let you know there's going to be challenges. It's not like you're going to get to gold or to senior gold or whatever your next rank is, ruby, emerald, sapphire, diamond. It's not like you're going to get to that next level and that you're just going to be free from challenges. They're probably going to get bigger. Like, I'm just being honest. So if we have this idea, if I just get to emerald, all my problems are over. Probably not. Probably not, because to get to emerald, you have to overcome challenges just to get to emerald. And if you're going to go farther than that, then you're going to have to overcome challenges. And challenges get bigger as you grow. I heard a guy named T.D. Jakes say one time, new levels bring new devils. And I agree, it's true. You know, I don't know much about T.D. Jakes, but I think that quote is accurate. Just like David, look at David in the Bible the same way. You know, he started out with a sling and a stone. You know, he killed a bear, he killed a lion to protect the sheep. It's not like all his troubles ended. Then he had to deal with Goliath. Well, then he overcame Goliath, right, with God's help. And it wasn't over then. Then he had to deal with armies, and he had to deal with his own son. And he had to deal with the own commander of his army. Like, it didn't end. So if you're thinking like this next level is just going to bring you peace and serenity, yeah, there's a lot of great things about it, but it's going to be challenging. I'm telling you that because it's honest, it's true. And to get to the next level in Plexus or anything in life, you're going to have to overcome the challenge that's in front of you right now. It's not like the challenge is going to just go away. So just stand up, square your shoulders, and run right at the thing, knock it over, and move on to the next one. Whatever that is, whatever it is you're facing right now in your Plexus business, do like David did. He ran at Goliath. He didn't just waltz down there or Uber or whatever. He ran at the problem, killed the problem, moved on to the next problem. And that's what we need to do in our Plexus business. Next section. Leaders add value to others. Leaders add value to others. I think this is critical. You guys are adding value to one another right now. Just by showing up, you're adding value to one another. It's encouraging to see everybody on tonight. Anything in this section, or is this fairly self-explanatory? Okay, well, we'll just move on. So one thing you can be asking yourself on this, I would just encourage you to take a look at it. Are you adding value to people? Jim Rohn, one of the things he says is we primarily get paid for value. We primarily get paid for the value we add to people or to the marketplace. So if that's true, and I think that it is, then we can double our pay by doubling our what? Time? No, by doubling the amount of value we add, even in the way that we post. Your vision, if you're trying to share a vision, should add value to people. It should inspire people to do more also. All right, next section on page 50. What drives you? I don't have anything marked down in this section, but anybody have anything stand out to them in that section?
I think for me, it was just simply tying it back to that, having that vision and that we need to be passionate about it. And that requires that daily looking at it. I think there was a quote somewhere in here to look at your, I think it was John Maxwell, maybe. Anyway, to look at it every day. No, it was Les Brown, to review your goals. He was talking about your goals, but I think we need to, it's the same principle that we have to keep that vision before us and stay passionate about it, because I think that passion can wane when you get stuck in the daily things and you get kind of bogged down in that if you're not staying passionate. And if you're going to lead a team, then you have to lead with passion, because I mean, who's going to follow you if you're not passionate? I mean, I don't want to follow someone who's like all in the doldrums all the time. And so I think it's important to realize if we don't feed ourselves, then we cannot lead other people, and not lead them well, and not lead them where we want to take them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I absolutely agree. And we need to be passionate about this. That's why our dream or vision needs to be big. Needs to be big. Anybody else on that section?
Well, there's power in passion, and it can go either direction. One of my first times I was ever titled as passionate was in the heat of an argument with my 23-year-old daughter, and I was at first offended by it. And I've since that point in time taken it and ran with it as a positive label to have instead of a negative one, even though it occurred at a negative time. Therein lies, where we have the ability to say, hey, okay, it's a good thing to have, and a good thing to be, and people are going to be receptive to which direction you take it. And there are going to be times when there's negative passion in our business. I'm sure we've all come up against that, and we have to control it, because you can certainly find yourself caught up in a moment of, oh my goodness, I can't believe that just happened, or that person just said that, or I have a family member that's rejecting, me for the business that I'm in, or and I'm not sure where it was, but it talked about reaction versus, I think it was in the first part of this chapter. To always be proactive instead of reacting. It's on page 45 in the first paragraph of this chapter. And sometimes that's hard when you're passionate.
Yeah, I agree. I think we do need to be passionate, and about what we do. We have to be excited about what we do. And even as you're posting whatever, like, you can post a lot of different things about Plexus, but like, what is the thing that gets you so fired up about it? Like, maybe it's that you don't have eczema anymore. It doesn't really matter what it is, but what is that thing about Plexus that gets you fired up? When we have an event at our house, one thing that we'll do sometimes is we'll go around and we'll ask people to share their testimony, and they just get fired up, like, about something, whatever that something is to them. And they're like, yeah, I just don't know what to share. I'm like, you just shared it. Like, your eyes got big, your voice got louder, you started using your hands and got excited. Like, go back to that. It's passion. That's the thing that gets you fired up. That's what's going to get people's attention. If you're I mean, you got to get fired up. You got to get fired up about it. Okay, moving on here. Okay, page 51, get your butt out of your comfort zone. That is great. I'm just going to read what it says here on the first part of it is the comfort zone is an apparent state of comfort that leads to death in life and is the most dangerous condition of the human being. It is the perfect justification for not doing, not believing, not risking anything in life. The comfort zone, that's what they do to people when they're dying. We're just going to make you comfortable. We don't want to be comfortable, right? Like that's, and even in our business, it's the same way. I just want to be comfortable. Well, then you're probably in a state of dying. Like you're not going to be able to continue to grow if you are in a state of comfort in your business. You're going to have to, we are going to have to just continue growing. The only way that you're going to be able to be comfortable is if you have like a complete rock star underneath you who's growing and is out of their comfort zone. And we don't want that either, because then we're not taking part in the growth. We're not taking part in the fun. We're not learning the lessons. We're not engaged in the battle, right? And we want to be engaged in the battle. So get out of your comfort zone. Yeah, exactly. I love the comments in the chat thread. But you can't, comfort, if you stay comfortable long enough, you'll start going backwards. Your plexus business will start to slide backwards. It won't, you can get by with it for a little bit, depending on how your team is structured, but you can't get by with it very long. You'll start to slide backwards. And it's that way really with anything in life. One thing I'm just going to cover a couple last things. I know we got just about 10 minutes or so. On page 52, this is in the same section of the comfort zone. One thing I'm going to just say is on number 2, well, these are the reasons why people fall into their comfort zone. There's 4 things here. 1, they disconnect from a powerful vision. 2, they don't believe they can reach any higher. I'm going to touch on that one here in a second. 3, they are comfortable with their past accomplishments or at their lowest level. And 4, they are trapped in distractions. I think all those things are important to look at. I agree, but I want to look at number 2. One of the reasons people fall into their comfort zone. This is going to have to deal with mindset here a little bit. Number 2 says they don't believe they can reach any higher. I'm going to add to that and just say they don't believe they deserve to reach any higher. People think, well, why would people are afraid to go to the next level. They don't think they deserve emerald or sapphire or diamond or ruby. Now, why do I say that? I say that because I've coached enough people in the last 6 years. I know this is a major issue. People just don't think they deserve to make $50,000 on a side business or 100,000 or 500,000, whatever the number is. The number is irrelevant. That's not the issue. The issue is we have this idea, some people, not all, have this idea, I don't deserve that. Says who? Like, I don't know. I want to mention that because I know that's an issue that people deal with. Why would I deserve X, Y, Z? Well, why not? There's not a one of us that probably deserves it. If we got what we deserved, we'd be, yikes. But it's there and it's available, so go get it. And to go get it, we have to get out of the comfort zone. That one thing that and comfort zone really is what that, if you boil all these things back down, the vision, the comfort zone, all these things, if you boil it all back down to the basic level, it's fear. You can call it whatever you want, but it's fear. It's fear of being told no. It's fear of losing what you've already gained. It's fear of whatever. It's all goes back to fear. When you really start to look at the things holding us back on our business, it's fear. The cool thing about fear is it can be overcome, and it should be overcome. It should be overcome. So at the bottom of 52, if you have reached a plateau in your life or in your business, do a self-analysis and discover if any of these reasons can help you unleash the power within you. I would encourage you, if you're at a plateau, do a self-analysis and be honest with yourself. Why am I afraid of reaching out to Sarah? Why am I afraid of reaching out to Joe? Really start walking that back and asking questions until you get to the root of the issue and then deal with that. Why am I afraid of hitting the next rank? Why am I afraid of sharing the business? We're going to talk about that here in a minute. You know, or whatever it is. Why am I afraid of doing a live video? I don't know. But I would do a self-analysis and just find out, evaluate yourself, examine yourself. Why is this thing holding me back from my vision, from my dream? Why am I allowing this fear of holding me back from what I say I want to achieve? One thing I've learned about fear is most of the time it's not even true. I heard someone say fear is an acronym for false evidence appearing real. So anyway, so we're going to talk real quick about goals, and then we're going to talk about duplication. I'm going to do that in 4 minutes.
Can I say one thing on that
Yep.
section?
Absolutely.
My favorite statement in this whole chapter is on the top of 52, where it says, when you discover that you have unlimited potential, you will never go back to your comfort zone. I loved that. And it reminded me of a Bible study I did several years ago on Hosea. And it was all on idols. And she talked about the idol of comfort. And I'll never forget that, how we can make comfort our idol and our number one thing. And I just loved that whole concept of, we just have to discover that we have unlimited potential, which I think fits into what you said about, do we deserve it and everything. So I just wanted to share that because I love that part. I
agree. And some people get freaked out about words like that, like unlimited potential. And those things don't scare me. Because there's not a one of us on here that's reached our potential yet. Like we can go further, we can go faster, we can go harder, we can go higher, we can go farther, longer. So let's push the envelope. Let's see what this thing will do. I mean, I don't know. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. One thing, let's go to page 53. Your goals inspire you every day. Your goals inspire you every day. Now, I'm just going to say, if you have a vision, your vision is to whatever, to go diamond and to build a school in Mexico. That's a huge vision. That will inspire people, that will get people gathered up, pulling the train together, right? Now, how do you measure progress towards that vision? Well, it's through goals, right? It's through setting goals, and it's through achieving those goals. You have to have goals. You have to have goals. Now that vision or dream of building the school can be a goal. It can be the ultimate goal, right? But we have to have goals set between now and then. And I like what he says at the bottom of 53. Without goals, you are like a boat adrift. Setting goals is one of the basic principles for success. Establishing and reviewing your goals constantly, committing to action, and reporting progress weekly will increase the results of your business. I absolutely agree. This is exactly how I went diamond. I'll share a goal setting. If anybody here is on my team, they've probably heard this 10 times already, but I'm going to share it again because I think it's absolutely critical for goal setting. So I'm going to read, or I'm just going to kind of paraphrase out of a book I read. I went through a mastermind class a couple of years ago on this book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's an excellent book. It's not an easy read. It's deeper than I Am Smart, which really challenged me. And that's good, right? It got me out of my comfort zone. And it was great. But one of the things that stuck out to me in here is how to set a goal. And I would say that Alex Hoffman in this book has read, actually, I know he's read this book because I had lunch with Alex in Scottsdale and we talked about this book. So I'm not saying he plagiarized Think and Grow Rich, but he got some ideas, I think, out of this old book. And basically this book, this Think and Grow Rich book is it's a book where they interviewed successful people in and around and through the Great Depression time. The wealthiest of the wealthy, the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, the Carnegies, all of those families, they interviewed those and they came up with some consistent ways in which these people think. They all think the same kind of way. So, but on goal setting, I'm just going to share this with you really fast. And I'll also put it in the that chat thread where I put these, where I put the recording of these videos. I'll put this in there as well. But the first thing is you have to fix in your mind the exact amount of money or points or rank, whatever it is you're going for on the goal. For example, let's say you're going for senior gold. Well, then you need to fix in your mind the exact amount of points that you need, which is what? 250 points, right? You have to be very specific when it comes to goal setting. Like if we set a goal and it's kind of like, yeah, I kind of maybe sort of want to grow in points this year. Like you're not going to go anywhere, right? We need to be very specific when we set a goal. So if you want to go senior gold, for example, the specific number, I am going like 250 points. That's the exact goal. That's the first step, is to fix in your mind the exact number you're wanting to achieve. Second, you need to think about this and determine in your mind, what is it you're willing to give up in order to get that 250 points? And this is exactly what I did when I went diamond. I was reading this book, it was last year, and I went through these steps. So it was 4,500 points is my goal. And I am willing to give up arguing politics on Facebook. And I did. I gave it up. I had a lot of fun with that. I also, it was a huge distraction. And I gave it up. And you know what? I don't even do it now. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of my time. So first one, fix in your mind the exact number that you're wanting to achieve. Second, what are you willing to give up to get it? Third, establish a definite date by which you're going to achieve that goal. Don't have open-ended goals. You can always reset the goal if you don't hit it, but give it an end. What this does is it gives you a sense of urgency. Number 4, you have to put an action plan. He talks about this in this Millionaire Networking book. On page 54, he says, your goal should be as specific as possible. We already have covered that. Very detail oriented, we're covering that. And you have to have an action plan. A goal without an action plan is worthless, basically. It's kind of like saying, I'm going to go to Hawaii, but you have no plan on how you're going to get there. Right? You have to have a plan. Like if you go to drive to Hawaii, you're going to be in trouble. So you have to have a plan on how you're going to get there. So create, number 4, create a definite plan for carrying out your goal. And whether you're ready or not, put the plan into action. Be ready to put the plan into action. Begin. Be ready to begin. The 5th thing, write out. And you have to write this out. You want to write out a clear, concise statement. And what it's going to say is everything that you've already determined. I'm going to hit 250 points. I'm going to give up binge watching something on Apple TV. I'm going to hit 250 points by December 31st. this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to, whatever it is you're going to do. I'm going to sign so many level ones. I'm going to help so many people go silver. I'm going to go to, you know, whatever training, whatever it is you're going to do, whatever your action plan is. So you want to write it out. It doesn't have to be like a thesis either. Like, this is simple, basic stuff, right? Some people on here will think they will work on this until the date that you're wanting to achieve the goal. Until you get to there, you'll be working on your action plan. Don't do that. It doesn't have to be big spiritual thing. Super simple. And number 6, since you wrote this thing out, you want to read it out loud twice a day. Once in the morning when you get up, and once at night before you go to bed. If I have my goals written out like that, and I read them every morning and every night, and you don't have your goals written out, it's just all in your head, who do you think is going to achieve their goal first? I will. Why? Because it's constantly on my mind. It's constantly in front of me. I'm focused on it, right? So those 6 steps, and I can put that again in that chat thread that we're in. Anyway, that's a really basic way of setting a goal. I think it's extremely powerful and important to do that. What time is it? Oh my, we're over 8. One last piece, and then I'm going to let you go. Save the best for last. He's talking about if you duplicate, you win. And I agree. You have to duplicate. When you're working your way to gold, you're adding people a lot of times because it's just you for the most part. Now, everybody's team is structured different. I get that. But for the most part, you're adding people to your team up until gold or in that general area, right? When other people on your team start adding people and you're adding people, then you start multiplying. That's when things really start rolling. So you have to duplicate. He talks about systems in here. I'm not going to talk too much about systems. We did talk about that last night on the coaching call. You can go catch that recording. I know Megan uploaded that today. We discussed a little bit about systems. But one thing I want to talk about is, it says growth is based on duplication. And I agree. You can't be the only one adding. So I'm going to talk about another fear here. You need to recruit duplicators. There is an aspect of helping people duplicate. But like Jim Rohn says, you can't send your ducks to Eagle School. Like, we're recruiting people for probiotics and then we're getting upset and frustrated because they won't go gold or diamond. It's frustrating. Why? Because you're trying to turn a wholesaler, who I love, I think wholesalers are awesome, but we're trying to make them into something they're not, and it's frustrating. So we need to recruit people who will duplicate. Well, how do we do that? We have to share the business. If anybody asks me ever, I don't care if it's on the Tuesday night call or on my team or anybody else, I don't have any business builders. My first question every time, I don't even have to think about it, is, are you sharing the business? Well, no. Like, if you're trying to catch fish, you need to use a fishing lure, right? Like, you have so the question is, why aren't you sharing the business? And if you really start asking yourself that question, I think you'll walk it all back to a fear. You're afraid of something. Well, what is that thing you're afraid of? Let's get out of our comfort zone. Let's run right at that thing. Let's attack it. So anyway, you're going to have to overcome the fear of business. One thing I started to see 5 years ago, I told Megan, I said, the people that are winning in this business are sharing the business. I mean, you can build a big team sharing the products, because our products are great, but if you're wanting to build a business, you have to share the business. Now, to do that, we're going to have to overcome the thing that's holding us back on that. Now, you're going to have to ask yourself what that thing is that's holding you back. It might be the fear of others, probably the other people's opinion. is what's holding you back for the most part. How do I know this? Because I've been there. I had to deal with that myself, right? I don't want to be that guy, or I don't want people to think I'm just after their money, or I'm just. But when I changed the way that I approach people and I came at them just trying to help meet a need, whatever that need was, the fear of what other people thought of me went away. Because my approach was clean, my approach I had a clear conscience in the way that I was approaching people, and that fear went away. So if you're wanting to build your business, you're going to have to start sharing the business. To start sharing the business, you're going to have to start overcoming the fear that you have right now of sharing the business. Angela, I'm hoping that all these things added together helped you a little bit more than when we first started. Did it?
Yes, and I do have fears about sharing the business, and I will work on what those fears are this week.
Yeah, to encourage you, you guys aren't the only ones dealing with this. We all deal with this. But just when you're sharing the business, just be honest. Tell the truth. You don't have to elaborate. You don't have to share a story that's not even yours. Share your story. Plexus paid me last month enough to pay for groceries. There's a post.
Yeah. Well, and Greg, my husband, he's listening to all this, and he says this to me all the time. He's like, I don't want to lose friends over this or lose.
I got one person signed up at work.
But he did get one person signed up at his job, but and I don't really have that fear, but I do have fears. I just need to narrow down what exactly I'm afraid of.
Yeah, and I again, you're not alone. We all deal with fears. I got a message from a wholesaler in Mexico yesterday, 4 long voice messages, and I was afraid to open it up. I put my phone down. I'm like, I'm gonna go do something else because I don't know what those messages say, right? And then I opened up anybody else guilty of this? I know I'm not alone here, right? Every hand should go up. Everybody's done that. So, but then I listened to the messages and they were great. She's having great results and wants to learn more about some products. So, it was all good. It was all great. So, but we're all dealing with these things, but can't let it stop us from moving forward. You don't want to let it paralyze us. Your vision or your dream that you have for yourself and your Plexus business is too sacred to let some fear like this stop you from achieving what it is you set out to do. So you owe it to yourself. I owe it to myself to overcome these things that are holding us back and keep moving forward. So with that, guys, I'm going to get off here. Again, this call is recorded, so I will have it on that chat thread, and I will also put those 6 steps to goal setting on the chat thread. Also, next Wednesday, chapter 5, the power of beliefs. The power of beliefs. So I encourage you to be reading through that this week and making some notes and come ready to share. So have a great week. I appreciate all of you. See ya.